Hey, good morning. December 13th, I do believe. Let's see here. Not that it matters. So now I'm stuck on it. 14th, watch, I see. See how it happened? 14th, we're 11 days to Christmas. This month halfway over with. How's everybody doing? It's your boy, God Walk. There we go. Rainy morning, but it slacked up a bit. It was throwing down. I was like, doggone, I really needed to walk. Had to get the kids ready for school. Mondays, you know how that go. And they're actually all in school on Monday in person. So, getting all three of them jokers out the house. So, little stress level went up a little bit. You know how that go. And it was raining. I'm like, damn, I ain't even better walk. I was going to sit on the back porch, read the word, and do it like that. I had to get some outdoor time. But it stopped raining enough. Just sprinkling. So I'm out here strolling and rolling, feeling good. I'm so happy I got to walk. Take a deep breath up in there, baby. I was hoping for one of them bright, beautiful mornings, but hey, it's like that sometimes. Cloudy outside, it's all good, it's all good. Ooh, what I want to talk about this morning. Real quick. Well, not real quick. So, I consider myself a story crafter. I'm not a prophet, I'm not I can't predict the future or nothing like that. But what I do feel like one of my passions has always been, is being a story crafter. I've been, little comic book stories, little characters and game ideas. Honestly, that's why I have a degree. Believe it or not, I have an art degree with a major in drawing. And I don't even draw anymore. Funny enough, it's one of those things that I do believe I'll get back to as one of the things that I've seen this year is God what they call redeeming the time. He also redeems talent, or gifts that he's given you. Oh, I used to do that, but not anymore. It's like, just like with music, I love music. I used to play drums for years. I have a drum set upstairs, nice one. Haven't touched it for real, in, a year or so. But I have faith that all that stuff's gonna come back. All that, on the right timing. But anyway, so story crafting. While I'm on that, so a lot of people talking about that December 21st, that great conjunction, baby. A lot of people, what's gonna happen? And I'm even seeing, of course, I follow different people on YouTube and whatnot. And a lot of people are on the whole, it's gonna release this thing, and like the people, melanated people are gonna be hyper activated. It's gonna activate something in the DNA, and black people are gonna get superpowers. I even got some people online. I've seen a few people on Twitter bring it up, which is funny. In a joking way. I hear people, your vibration got to be high enough, So, watch your negativity, watch your this, watch your that. Because, if your vibrations are off, when the thing hits, you're going to miss the boat. All kind of stuff, and who knows. But it got me thinking, and I talked about this yesterday, if I haven't posted that video yet. Talking about my transformation from like 2012, how a lot of people in 2012, or a lot of people that you see now that are, on that spiritual tip, on that conscious tip, on that whatever, a lot of people had their awakening in 2012. I've seen a lot of people trace it back. I did too. And so I bring that up as to say, and that was, again, like I said, I think December 21st or something, 2012, was, the Mayan calendar ends and this happens and this happens. And with the natural eyes, it's like, okay, time just passed on, blah, 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 this happened, this happened. But you got to understand, 2012, if you look at it spiritually, look at how the world changed. So 2012 was that Obama's second term. All right, boom. And then of course you got the Joker year, the 2016. Yeah, I remember 2016. That was the year Trump won. The year, I think that was the year, or the Super Bowl before that was the year that the doggone Atlanta Falcons and that was just that weird, crazy year. Y'all remember that, Jen? And it's like, no, on the surface things didn't like change, but that was the change in the atmosphere. That was changes that had to take place, or that did take place in that time. And now you look at 2020 and you're like, wow, how did we get here? Well, I bet if you were to look, if you started to look at the threads, and that's the whole thing about, that's why I say I'm a story crafter, is because you start looking at the little threads. And if you're just looking at the threads, you're not looking at the whole thing. But if you pull back, there's a whole tapestry being made, And so this whole 2020 thing, I do believe, more than anything, it's going to be a type of shift in consciousness. Just like in 2012, when people started waking up, people started saying, wait a minute, this putting pieces together. And it's all congruent. And that's the whole thing about it to me. I call them natural miracles. It's like, for example, it's my little saying, things happen for a reason. And for that reason, that thing happened. And so like 2020, okay, this year. We've been saying 2020 forever, 2020 vision. They had the TV show 2020. And of course, it's because the repetition makes it stick in your head. But that name has power just in how many times it's been said, how many times what's associated with that word. Now, is it a coincidence that the year 2020 is this big, boom, whatever year? No, 2020 existed before, 2020 vision, before all these other things, And that word, that energy is present. And so, yeah, 2020 is wild because there's energy in that word, in that number, in that idea, in that frequency. And it permeates in all these other aspects of life. So, natural miracle. So, yeah, you might say, well, a scientist is going to look back, well, if you look at socioeconomically, the internet did this and phones did that and social media. So you have all these connections, and that's why it looks like this big shift, because people were able to influence each other. And, people are watching this. It's like the Joe Rogan phenomena, Look at that damn thing, And that does have a lot to do with it, or have something to do with it. We can share things and we can all be looking at the same thing and we influence each other and it spreads and things go viral. Sure, that's true. But that doesn't make it any less that doesn't give it any less impact. That doesn't make it any less true. That doesn't make it any less, I don't want to say magical, but you know what I'm trying to say. So yes, even though there may be concrete things that point to why things change, things still change. I hope I explained that okay. But anyway, so that is to say, I do believe, and here's the thing about it, it's gonna change. We're gonna have a new president next year. A totally different regime, a whole different paradigm is coming in. And it's just like, things aren't just linear. That's the whole thing about the singularity, the whole thing about the you know, time speeding up. If you get into that, it's like I said, it's a gyre that the coil spins tighter. So what took 10 years takes 5. What took 5 takes 2. You know, that whole thing. You know, so the environment, the ground is so much more fertile, you know, now. And you got all the emotion and all the power. Like I said, 2020 is a battery. And all this energy, all this good, bad, negative, whatever, has been stored up. A lot of people are going to have a release just on the fact that the year's not 2020 anymore. A lot of people are going to tie, you know, every year, New Year always has a certain energy. So you're tying all that energy, new president, new year, getting out of this year, you know, this whole great conjunction, this whole thing. So there's going to be an effect, you know, even if it's not, you know, some energies coming from Saturn and Jupiter or whatever. So the shift is going to happen. And that's the whole thing about it. You know, these energies has an equal and opposite reaction. It's like it's not just going to dissipate into nothing. It's going to, because like I said, even right now, this whole thing ain't even about people my age, you know, or even younger. Kids, bro. There's kids coming up through this thing, man. There's kids growing up in this environment. And I'm not just talking about, you know, the COVID situation. I just mean spiritually in this environment. I mean, if you're looking at, you know, I don't know what you watch or what you pay attention to, but the whole Hebrew Israelite thing, the whole, you know, the black people being the lost tribe, and, you know, kind of the backlash against the woke church and the backlash against the traditional Pentecostal, you know, contemporary church, you know, grounds are moving, man. The ground is moving. And we're looking at it one way, but the landscape gonna be different for our children. Completely different. So that is to say, you know, yes, December 21st, hell, why not say that was the delineation point. You know, mark that. You know, where are we going to be 8 years from now? And like I said, I think what took 8 years to happen is going to happen in 4, 2, you know. Things are more concentrated, more speeding up. That energy is built up, and it's going to come out somewhere. So, you know, are we going to get superpowers? I joked with my kids, and that's the first time they heard it, and they just laughed at me. But like I said, natural miracle. 2020 was a miracle. You see? But the seeds were laid. 2012. You see? So yeah, I do believe something cosmic, biblical, spiritual. I know that's happening. So that's all I'm gonna leave. Oh, Story Weaver. Last thing I want to say. When I talked about, you know, the characters and stuff I created, and I've always had those kind of things. Real quick. So about the shot, and y'all know what I'm talking about. You know, a lot of people I was watching last night, you know, 40% or something like that, talking about, you know, they're comfortable with it, you know, 30%, you know, not, and, you know, 20 people undecided, whatever, you know, and I'm seeing it from all aspects. It's like some people, you know, you got the whole anti-vax thing, like, what are y'all talking about? Of course you get the thing, and let's get back to normal. Other people are like, hell no, are you crazy? All this stuff that's going on. And I even hear people saying, you know, because it talks about, you know, it's RNA and how it affects that. And I see how I was talking about, you know, the DNA is going to be affected by that energy on December 21st, you know, or that energy that's coming, and how it affects your DNA. And what they want to do is give you that shot to lock your DNA. So it locks it down so it cannot, you know, and again, however you want to take that, you can take that all the way from that all the way to, in the Bible it speaks of this mark that excludes you from God's kingdom. That's not a huge leap. I'm not saying that's what it is, but do you see how you can go from that to that? But the whole idea, I used to have a character, I had a storyline that I had since middle school. Basically about this character who is from this planet where all the people are like Superman. Like everybody has superpower. Everybody can fly. Everybody has, can telepathy, blah, blah, blah. And so what they did, there was like a revolt. And so what they did, because you can't really imprison somebody or, that has that kind of power, So what they would do is they would give you this thing that would lock your DNA and you couldn't, and the way I explained it, instead of having a double strand helix, they had like a single strand, or they had like free flowing whatever. And that double helix is that lock. And so the main character was the son, was like he's from the line of people. And of course, those people that didn't have any powers, they became like subservient. They were slaves, and they were less than. Everybody flying around, and these people just regular, normal people. And he learns how to use machines, and he builds technology, and that's how he combats. And he rises up, and he eventually becomes, like this apocalypse kind of dude, who takes over, blah blah blah. But it's just interesting, that storyline that I ain't thought about in forever. How that little congruency is going on with what's going on now. So that's why I say, I see the threads. Now maybe I've always seen the threads. But anyway, I'm about to head back for a little bit and then maybe get back on later. Y'all be blessed. Take it easy.